So with the release for the teaser trailer for the final season of Top Boy, I went back and gave the show a rewatch, from Summerhouse all the way through to season 4 of the show, and it got me thinking about one particular character, Sully. The character that I feel has gone on a massive journey over the years, arguably the largest journey, but still he's forever in Dushane's shadow when it comes to being on top, something I feel that he'll never be able to be, and there are a few different reasons for that. As much as it would be a poetic ending for both Dushane and Sully to be on top like they said they always would, I feel the final season is going to be going in a completely different direction than that. So with that, let's break down and explain why Sully will never be on top in Top Boy Season 5. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. I'll be breaking this video down by a few different main sections that I think will contribute to Sully's demise. His emotions. One thing that Sully is, which makes him drastically different to anybody else in the show, is emotional. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's a main trait of the character. Sully often acts on emotions, and he ultimately finds himself in situations that are far worse due to the impulsive feelings that he gets. When we compare this to the other characters that are in the Summerhouse crew, they don't do that at all. Dushane doesn't let emotions get in the way of what he's doing, even if it's something that he doesn't truly want to do. For example, when he found out that Michael spoke to the authorities, he was prepared to take him out. Despite the fact that he was so close to him and was one of his best workers, Dushane's prepared to do what it takes to stay at the top, and he doesn't leave room for errors, weak links, or betrayal. Even Jax, she showed that she was ruthless. She taught her sister Lauren a lesson and was prepared to disown her for opening her mouth about Sully's location, and she banished her from her home. Whereas with Sully, he's an individual that uses his emotions in the wrong way. For example, he struggled to get over the fact that he had to kill Driss, and it was something that we saw playing on his mind. The death of Jason led him down the path of revenge, and he did a favor for Pebbles where he ended up being held hostage and at ransom. He's an individual that thinks with his heart as well as his head, and despite having a ruthless front, the people that he cares about are the individuals that he's willing to act out of line for, and go outside of how he traditionally acts. In these instances, he loses his composure, which is something that causes him to be weaker. Even though Dushane would always be prepared to get revenge or help somebody that mattered to him, he'd think it through in a more logical way. There's never a moment where Dushane, Jax, or any others consider doing it on a whim. Even Jamie. Jamie is more emotionally blocked than what Sully was, hence why we saw Sully acting on emotions once again in the finale of Season 4. The very idea that somebody out there was getting closer and had a chance of getting a piece of the pie that he felt was his was something that he couldn't stomach. Even with Dushane's reassurance that by keeping Jamie in to plan for their future and as a retirement option, it wasn't enough. We saw the actions of the hot-headed man that we saw in the Summerhouse series come back after a few years. An individual that acted and didn't think, like when he killed Leon, and he ultimately went on to show the exact reason as to why he'd never be on top. Sully acts before he thinks, but he thinks about how he feels before he acts. I know it sounds weird when it's put like that, but basically he thinks about how he feels and he lets it get the better of him, rather than the outcome of his actions, which is something that there isn't room for, and it means that there's more space for error and the chance of leaving oneself exposed to attention and threats. So Sully's emotions and the way that he acts is one of the main reasons as to why he won't end up on top. Sully's transformation. In Season 3 and Season 4 of Top Boy, I feel like we saw a slightly different side to Sully. We started to see the side that we saw at the end of Season 2. I think prison changed him, and it actually changed him for the better. He was looking like he was going to be there for his daughter. He was back working alongside Dushane as just the pair of them, and he was starting to think a little bit more with his head. However, towards the back half of Season 4, it seemed as though Sully started regressing slightly. He was losing his head in situations, and there was almost an ounce of jealousy that was present around how much Dushane was putting his interest in Jamie and allowing him to work alongside them, despite everything that happened in the previous season, where the both of them were essentially at war and Sully was being targeted. It was something that he just wasn't able to forgive or forget, and that was what caused that revenge streak that he had within him to no longer lie silently within, and ultimately led to one of the main reasons as to why Sully won't end up on top. We've seen Sully cast to the side on multiple occasions throughout both series before, and he's never been able to stand on his own 2 feet for that long without making some kind of mistake. whether that be taking his cousin in the hopes of getting some money, causing his friend to get killed, and also being kidnapped. So no matter how much he transforms, he always ends up going back to how he was at the start. The Betrayal. The final reason as to why Sully will most likely never be on top in Top Boy is due to the betrayal that we saw take place at the end of the most recent season. Right at the end of the season finale, we saw that he went round to Jamie's flat and he killed him on the spot. After what Sully saw taking place abroad, he felt as though Jamie was untrustworthy and was working on bringing Dushane down. Even though Jamie completed the task and proved himself by killing his best friend Kit, Dushane saw Jamie as the future and as a way of them being able to find a way out, whereas now, with Sully doing what he did, he proved that he didn't listen to Dushane and would go against him no matter what he said and thought. It did come quite out of the blue, as I didn't expect Sully to do it on a whim, but when Dushane eventually finds out about what Sully did, we're going to see the betrayal be felt, and it will hit hard. This was a big thing that Sully did, and it could well cause a divide within the group. It could take things back to how they were in Season 3, and with Sully out there on his own, I feel we're going to see him on the run and truly have nobody. Dushane thinks more with his head, and I believe that if the pair of them were to face off, then Dushane would get the upper hand. Plus, all of Summerhouse would most likely be on Dushane's side due to Sully going against what Dushane said and killing Jamie, an individual that many people came to know and trust. So Sully truly has no chance of ever being on top in the show anymore. He was when he was with Dushane, but I think now, he's out there on his own. Dushane always said that he'd back his boy no matter what, but I feel this could have been the final straw that would have crossed the line. Sully is unpredictable, and I like the fact that we're seeing a side to Sully that we haven't really seen since the Summerhouse series. It's more raw, and it's the opposite to how Dushane acts. The final season of Top Boy is something that I can't wait to see unfold. I think it's definitely going to be a dark final season. The pair that have been there since the start are going to most likely be at war with one another, and only one is going to be able to come out on top, and I most certainly don't feel as though it's going to be Sully. I can't wait to see how it's going to go down. So, there you have it, why Sully will never be on top in Top Boy Season 5. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button, or alternatively you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. Do you think Sully will ever be on top? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.